Hello everyone, I am Dr. Pankaj Kumar, currently pursuing my MVSc degree in veterinary physiology. And in today's video lecture, I am going to explain on the topic blood and its component. Before it, I want to explain something where you can access all these video lectures. So, these video lectures can be accessed on a platform called as Quizpedia. So, Quizpedia is a community and e-learning mobile app for veterinarians. It provides a platform for vets from all over the country to stay connected through regular updates. Here, we also conduct daily subject and topic wide test, weekly mock test for all subjects for different competitive examination. In study material, we provide here short notes and questions bank for each subject. So now let's come back to our topic. So blood and its component. This is a basic topic of veterinary physiology. Now when you will go for your internal examination or your external examination, you will find this question once in those examinations. So what the examiner tried to ask, that is, what is blood and explain its components. So I am giving a basic idea of overall idea of this topic, that is blood and its component, and then the detailed explanation will come later in the video. So first of all, we have to tell about the definition of blood. So what is blood? Blood is a specialized fluid connective tissue. Specialized fluid connective tissue which have two components. First is its fluid matrix as plasma, fluid matrix as plasma, and formed elements are present in it. Formed elements are present in it. So now, as according to the definition, the blood contains the two parts, that is plasma and formed element. So now I am going to, in a overall view about the blood, all component I am going to tell you. So blood, these are two parts of the blood. First one plasma and second formed elements, right? Now what is the percentage of this component? So plasma contains around 55% and the formed elements are around 45%. Now the classification of plasma. See, it is a fluid connective tissue, so you don't consider it as completely fluid, that it will completely contain water. So the further classification of plasma are: plasma contain watery component around 92% and proteins that are called as plasma proteins. Plasma proteins around 7% and other components around 1%. So these are the basic. Now the other components, let us tell about that. So other components are dissolved gases, lipids, nutrients like glucose, and some minerals. So now let us discuss about the plasma proteins. See, the plasma proteins are of three types, and in order of their abundance, in decreasing order I am writing their name. So first plasma protein is albumin. And it is helpful in maintaining colloidal osmotic pressure. Second is globulin. Three types of globulin are there. First is alpha, beta and gamma globulin. Alpha, beta, these are maintained for transport, and gamma globulin is helpful in antibodies. So gamma globulin is meant for antibodies. Third is fibrinogen. Fibrinogen, that is meant for clotting factors. In blood clotting it is helpful. Blood clotting. Okay, so this is overall about the plasma. Now we have to understand this, the constant composition of plasma is maintained by the kidneys by the filtration and other mechanism that is helpful in the kidney. So now next let us switch to the formed elements. So see, formed elements are of three types. Formed elements. Three formed elements are present. First is erythrocytes. Second is leukocytes. And third one is thrombocytes. Erythrocytes are red blood cells or red blood corpuscles. These are RBC. Leukocytes are white blood cells or white blood corpuscles, and thrombocytes are platelets. Now RBC contain hemoglobin, so it is a red colored in appearance, and WBC is white colored in appearance. Now the WBCs are further divided into two types. What are those two types? First is granulocytes and second is agranulocytes. Now leukocytes, granulocytes and agranulocytes divided into the two types. So what are granulocytes? Why these are named so? Because in the cytoplasm granules are present in more abundant quantity, so these are commonly stained by the Leishman stains, and in agranulocytes these granules are very less, so these are not commonly stained by these Leishman stain. Okay, now granulocytes are of three types. First is neutrophils, eosinophils and basophils, and agranulocytes are lymphocytes, and monocytes. And lymphocytes are further divided into two types, B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. Okay, so this is an overall, as I have told about plasma, and now this is formed elements. So this is an overall view about these components. Now let us first discuss about how these cells are formed. Okay, so the formation of these formed element is by the two types of cells. So these are commonly originate from the stem cells. So the formation of these cells is known as hemopoiesis. Hemopoiesis. And hemopoiesis is this is the formation of these cells. So these originate in the stem cells, and in stem cells two types of cells are present: common myeloid progenitor and second is common lymphoid progenitor. So from common lymphoid progenitors, lymphocytes are formed. And from common myeloid progenitor, remaining all the cells are formed. Remaining cells are formed, such as the platelets are formed from the megakaryocytes, and other are also formed like RBC and remaining WBCs, that granulocytes and agranulocytes leaving these lymphocytes. So monocytes, eosinophils, basophils and neutrophils are formed from the common myeloid progenitor. So this is an hemopoiesis, that is formation of these cells. Now one next concept I am going to discuss with you. See, sometimes in exam that functions of blood is asked. So we don't need to learn separately the functions of blood, because the functions of these components, what they are performing, will indirectly the functions of blood. For example, RBC. RBC is meant for the gaseous transport like CO2 and oxygen. In the respiration chapter you will see that the how gaseous transport takes place. So blood is helpful in the gaseous transport, and the water present in the blood is provide the medium for many reactions. Okay, so these are the general functions of the blood. Now the properties of blood I will discuss with you all. Properties of blood. Okay, now first let us discuss about its volume. Blood volume. So generally the blood volume is around 6 to 8% of the body weight, lean body weight. So this is an average condition. So sometimes what happens, the blood volume becomes more or less. So many different body mechanisms are involved in to make the standard conditions that is available. So for example, when the one body organ that is called as the kidney, that is involved in maintaining the constant body volume by the RAS mechanism, renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system. So different organs are involved. So on an average 6 to 8% is the blood volume. Second, the pH, blood pH, it is 7.4, but the arterial blood pH and venous blood pH will be different. So in the veins, the impure blood is carried out, so the CO2 is present in that more. So in CO2, due to the CO2 plus one reaction occurs, CO2 plus H2O gives H2CO3, which will form the hydrogen ion will be secreted. So in a reaction hydrogen ion will produce, so the pH will be toward the acidic side. So in the venous system, venous veins, the blood will be toward the acidic side, and in arterial blood it will be toward basic side. Right, now the third, blood color. Blood color is reddish, but blood color, so blood is generally opaque in its condition, so we can't see through the blood, and the reddish color of blood is present. But in the case of the arterial blood is bright red color, and while the venous blood is dark red in the color. And fourth one is specific gravity. The range of specific gravity is 1.04 to 1.05. So specific gravity is measured in relation to the water. So the blood is heavier than water, because many formed elements, as we have seen in the plasma, 92% is water and around 7% is that plasma protein, so that will help to maintain the specific gravity. And fifth one is viscosity. So blood is 5 times heavier than water. So the RBC and plasma proteins are involved in making the viscosity of blood 5 times more than water. So I will try to give an example that honey is more viscous than water, because that viscosity is we can say the resistance to flow. The property of resistance to flow is called as viscosity. So we will say the blood is more thicker than water because of the RBC and many plasma protein. So these are the properties of blood where you can see. So these are the generally 5 properties, and we can see. Now I am going to explain about the next one important topic of objective point of view, that is the difference between the plasma and serum. Many times the student get confused about this topic, that what is plasma and serum. So the difference between plasma and serum is only due to the addition of anticoagulants. So now I will make you understand by taking the 2 test tubes. So first, and this one is second test tube, right? So this is test tube 1 and this is test tube 2. First we have to take the equal amount of the fresh blood sample of an animal, okay, and now add into these 2 test tube. So in first test tube, what we have to do, we are going to add an anticoagulant, generally EDTA. Sometimes in the lab the EDTA vials are available, but for the comparison we can take these test tubes. So in this test tube the blood is, we have added the blood in both these test tube, and in test tube 1 anticoagulant is added. Anticoagulant added. Now when anticoagulant is added, and these test tube in first test tube we have added anticoagulant, and second we are not adding any anticoagulant, and then we left it undisturbed for some times. Then what we will see, that in the test tube 1 the layers of blood elements is formed. So what happens, the lower level is of RBC, because RBCs are heaviest and they settle at lowest bottom, and the topmost layer is of plasma. The topmost layer is of plasma, and between these two is buffy coat. And what does that buffy coat contains? WBC and platelets. So buffy coat, WBC and platelets, and this one is of RBC and this one is of plasma. So the plasma will contain all the constituents that we have studied earlier. So, and now in the second test tube, when we will see that the whole blood gets coagulated, because we have not added any anticoagulant, so the blood gets coagulated, and when it is compressed, so some fluid will get excluded out from this coagulated blood. That yellowish fluid is serum. That fluid is serum. So what is difference between the plasma and serum? So serum is plasma minus fibrinogen and clotting factors. So we have seen that the difference is of that clotting factors, fibrinogen, and fibrinogen, as I have said, that this plasma protein